Hey there everybody, how's it going? It is Ampact here, and today, as you see in the video title, I'm going to show you guys how to build up the Soviet Union into a pretty much a superpower in the game, because when you start off it's a piece of shit. So yeah, go ahead and click single player, and let's take a look at the map. Now before I start off this tutorial, there's a couple of things I want to say. Is that for you to be able to understand this tutorial, it's pretty important that you've actually watched some other tutorials on how to actually play the game, or that you actually already know it, because there's no use in just trying to play the game with this one tutorial. You're going to have to watch like 5 or 6 tutorials, which are 15-minute long. I've linked a couple of really good tutorials in the description below. Those are the tutorials that helped me learn the game, but there's a couple of things that the tutorials are missing in my opinion. So I'm going to make a tutorial on how to build up the Soviet Union, and this is actually after a request from you guys, which I really appreciate. A comment, bang, there it is, a comment, this guy wanted me to show him how to build up the Soviet Union, so I'm going to show you guys that. So yeah, let's get going. Keep difficulty to normal game mode. You can switch that over to arcade, but the only thing it does is actually the way the supplies works in this game is that the supplies are usually gathered in your capital, and then they're spread around using supply trucks and things like that. But if you switch it to arcade, the supplies are just pulled from like a big bank of supplies in a way, just your entire supply fund. So let's just keep it to normal, because I'm a bit of a realistic guy, I don't fucking know. And yeah, let's get started. The loading is probably going to take a while, and when you're going to start playing, you're going to see automatically what is so horribly wrong with the Soviet Union when you start off. There is so much wrong here. You guys have no idea. It's pretty awful. Alright, here we are in the game. And you can see, oh my god, this is just, oh good lord. There are so many headquarters. Look at this. What kind of strategic deployment is this? Oh my god. This is the only chain of command which is somewhat working. Jesus. And where are there? Oh, Jesus. So the first thing you want to do is enough consumer goods, alright? You need to produce enough consumer goods in this game for your country to be able to operate without your population going mad. So consumer goods, always keep it to what it needs, or otherwise your descent is gonna drop down, and there's going to be a lot of shit. So let's just click on these need buttons as to what your country needs. You're probably not going to be able to get all the upgrades, but you're going to have to sacrifice some of those upgrades to keep your supplies running, get your reinforcements and things like that. And we're going to keep the convoys and supply convoys on automatic unless you're a pro in this game. I used to do supply routes myself, but when you're in the middle of a war, you're not going to bother with it. And before we actually just start hitting play or anything else, you're going to go to the production tab and start making a flotilla and transport ships in serial 2 in parallel 2. So you're going to create 2 transport ships. Because as it stands, when you start the game in 1936, the Soviet Union only has transport ships over here in Vladivostok or whatever. Alright, so now that we have covered the basics, there's a couple of things you're going to want to do. Is your units are kind of randomly spread around. Like, what is this mountain infantry unit doing all the way up here? And there's one thing you don't need to be afraid of, is like sea invasion up north, because although it's a bit unrealistic, you cannot invade these territories by sea, because the Earth is kind of around. It's a globe, you know, it's a round shape, but in the real world, you could like sail from Norway and up on top of Russia and just invade with military shit up here if you're the U.S. or something. But you can't do that here. You have to. This is your far flank. This area here, or this area here. So the first thing we're going to do now is actually strategically redeploy these guys on the front to Manchukuo, and you don't need to send any units into Mongolia, because these areas here bordering, yeah, I can't even say that name, pretty much bordering China, because this is a Chinese puppet, and a puppet state is a state controlled pretty much more or less by another country. But these regional areas over here, they are so low on infrastructure that you cannot pass them with any form of mountain infantry or anything. It's completely 100% impossible. Now, once that we have, I'm gonna come back to it, but let's keep looking at some of the tabs. You've noticed that your national unity is pretty fucking low. I'm gonna drink along as I record because we're gonna talk a lot. But your national unity is really, really low, and a couple of reasons for that. You know, the Soviets kept slaughtering their own manpowers, whatever, during the war and before the war as well. You know, there's social dissent and stuff like that. So we're gonna go to intelligence and check off the raised national unity, and this will make your spies kind of focus on raising the national unity in your country. Alright. Now, I'm also going to strategically redeploy these guys on the front. We're not going to start fucking with the HQs yet, because, yeah, we're not going to fuck around with the HQs yet, because we really want to get our units placed properly before we do anything else. You may want to leave some units you may want to leave some units behind in strange areas such as bordering Xinjiang or whatever, and especially bordering Afghanistan, as you're probably going to invade Afghanistan in a couple of years. And you see this area here, its command structure is actually all right in this particular area, in the Caucasus front, and yeah, in the Caucasus in general. Now, you've got your Western Front. And holy shit, in the mother of God, what a mess this is. And there's a couple of things you're also going to notice as you select units. Some units, like infantry units, doesn't have leaders. This one does, and a couple of these does, but like, yeah, see, these guys don't even have leaders. And you see that your leader list is actually empty. Any leaders unless you start fucking with the laws, and to be able to start fucking around with the laws, you have to actually invade a country. And I can already say, before we start doing anything else, is I use one cheat in this game, and I use it all the time because it is so, it's just not realistic to me at all in any way. But it is the cheat that makes your neutrality drop to 0, so you can pretty much invade any country you want, instead of sending spies and lots of shit before you can invade a country. But don't start invading a country before you have your proper command structure up. I actually, the 1st of January, actually, right now, I would have entered the cheat, and once I did this, I would actually invade the country, and it kind of went to hell. I think I invaded Estonia, and I lost horribly because I didn't have a command structure, and I did not have enough industrial capacity to be able to keep up my units' supplies, to keep producing supplies for them. And in the end, it kind of fucked up, so I had like 4 in descent, so I wasn't able to produce anything, so I kind of had to delete the entire save. Now, you see we've got, in my opinion, way too many units in Moscow. So we're gonna send these guys off, and we're gonna make new headquarters for these guys and stuff. And know that garrisons are really slow. A garrison is usually a military unit which is connected to one city, and one city in particular. You're not gonna want to move your garrisons around a lot because it's not gonna go all that well, really. So yeah, that's about it. I'm also gonna redeploy these guys. Oh my god, look at this. This is just, oh my god. I feel like every time I look at this command structure, a piece of my heart dies. Like a piece of my soul just vanishes. This is so bad. Oh my god. Oh my god. I know why they have their units back here. It's a second front line, but no, this is just wrong in my opinion. And you're gonna after we play, we're gonna start dissolving these headquarters and start making another command structure, and we're gonna separate our country into parts with using theater HQs, and we're gonna separate our countries into different parts. Let's just find the theater map mode here. You see, they've already got a bunch of theaters, but in my opinion, these are like, this one is way too big, and this one also is way too big. We need one theater covering this area, one theater covering this area, and yeah, these two are okay, but we need one theater covering this area here. This area should be one theater in my opinion, and this one should be one. So yeah, let's get to work. Let's start. And remember, don't stack more than 4 or 5 units in a stack, because otherwise you're gonna get a huge stacking penalty, which will pretty much, your units are gonna get slaughtered once they enter any form of a frontline war at all. So we've got 7 units here, so we're gonna skip, because you guys definitely don't want to see me routing units all over the place. But no, just move your units around to an area where you think you might get invaded, somewhere you might want to defend. Just don't like place a unit here. Don't do that. Or for fuck's sake, like in Siberia, like there. It's a pretty weird spot to have an infantry unit, but we're gonna leave it there for now. So we're gonna reroute our units all over the place. You're gonna see the difference, and we'll be right back. Alright, so now we're doing the second most important thing, which I think at least. Get our working economy. We're just going through the lists. We have a lot of power, and we can use that to gain money, and with our money we can buy fuel, and with the money we got from selling the energy we can buy more supplies. We can buy pretty much everything. You can buy contracts for making transport planes if you don't have the technology. You can make a lot of stuff. So we're just going through the list. Does anyone want power? Does Portugal want power? They say likely. So yeah, they want a power. The scribbling means they accepted the power agreement. See, I'm just selling power to as much people as possible. Siam, they didn't want energy. Oh well. Say likely. See all these agreements? These are all things that you need to work on as you're building up the Soviet Union. Get your economy working. Redeploy your units where it makes sense to have them, and then we're on to the next thing on my list: technology. Research infantry, land, and not just like everything here, but like certain things. Like this is the most important thing in my perception, because you can delay your time between attacks with 48 hours. Because once you're done with an attack, you're gonna have to wait like 125 hours to attack again. And with this technology, you don't have to wait even nearly as long. Infantry warfare, mass assault, and don't forget theory. I know a lot of people who skip this. I used to skip this when I started playing Hearts of Iron. I was like, what is this? It doesn't give me anything. I'll just skip it. Fuck that shit. So, supply transportation, supply organization, infantry warfare research. This is going to help you out a lot. You're going to consume a lot of supplies, especially now, since we are strategically redeploying our units all over the place, and your cache of supplies is going to start running dry. It's good right now, but still. Even though the Soviet Union was a country where most of their army consisted of infantry units, you're also going to want to focus on tanks. At least get the medium tank brigade and start upgrading medium tank armor. Don't bother with heavy tanks and super heavy tanks, because they're not going to do you any good, no matter what, really. They're slow as shit, and they really ain't going to help you. Ships is also really important. Focus on defending Leningrad. Focus on keeping all of your ships in Leningrad. And remember that your Baltic Front fleet, this is the Red Banner Baltic Fleet, is the most important piece of naval power you have as you start out. You will of course build this up. Hey there everybody, how is it going? It is Unpacked here. I'm sitting here editing the video you're about to watch or you have been watching, and I just realized that this video has been, or the clip that I've been editing has been really long, so I'm going to have to split the original video into two parts, as you can see in the video title, of course. I do apologize for this, but I have to do it since otherwise the video file will be so huge and it will take over 24 hours to render. Well, not 24 hours, it will take like 6 or 7 hours to render and stuff like that. So it's much easier and much more organized if we split it into two parts. So click on the screen to watch part 2. Remember to like and favorite if you enjoyed this tutorial and want the next part as quick as possible. Also subscribe if you thought this was good and you want more. And you really support me if you hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in part 2 right there. Click it now.